Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We are here to review the Pistons' worst game of the season by far, in what was a disappointing loss, to say the least. The Pistons lose to the New York Knicks by 30 points at Little Caesars Arena, with the final score being 128 to New York, 98 to your Pistons. And that was deflating. That was, I think we spent pretty much nearly 2.5 hours on the live stream going through this game with 4 or 5 fans, and I think now, a few hours removed from watching the game, I think it is honestly just a game that the coaching staff pretty much burn the tape and you just try and move on and focus on Brooklyn. There's some concerning things in this game for sure, but uh, there's one thing I'm going to talk about that I think needs to be addressed ASAP. But apart from that kind of thing, I think you just burn the tape. The Pistons tonight, the Knicks hit 18 threes. They shot 48% from deep, 52% from the field. Um, there wasn't many free throws shot in tonight's game. The Knicks had more assists. Yeah, it was the Knicks. I don't even know the turnover numbers. Let me pull them up here. The Pistons had 22 turnovers to the Knicks 9. And the Knicks generated 30 points off those turnovers, to the Pistons only 12. So the game was more than just turnover. Like, the Pistons got outplayed everywhere. I think the Knicks led by 26 in the first quarter. As much as I didn't want to admit it to myself, it felt like the game was over at the 4 minute mark. I think it was like 38-12 or something like that. Like, it was just an obliteration pretty much from the jump. Um, Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns combined for 57 points. I think Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges um, scored another 20. Yeah, so Anunoby got 21, Bridges 15, Hart 13, McBride 10. Like, their starting group, it's a scary group. And I said before this game on a previous live stream that I feel like the Pistons are either going to take it right up to the Knicks and pinch this one, or the Knicks are going to use this game to, for lack of a better term, get right and figure some things out offensively. And the Knicks pretty much use this as a training drill to build some chemistry offensively. And they now move to 3-2, and the Pistons move to 1-5 on the season. And man, like, it was always going to be tough for Detroit to win. I didn't think they were going to win tonight. I think that was obviously the wishful fan within me thinks they can win every game. But if I'm being honest with myself, I didn't expect them to win. But and even if I thought, part of me thought the Knicks might get away and win by 15, just because of their offensive power and the mismatches that they kind of provide the Pistons. I still just thought maybe they get away with it in the fourth quarter. Like, the Pistons have one of those fourth quarter collapses that we've become sort of used to. But no, this one was over pretty quick, and I don't think, like, I don't know any positives. And to be honest, the only thing I really want to talk about this game is the concerns that continue to uh, come from the Pistons center position. So Jaylen Durant tonight, another really disheartening performance. Uh, just Karl Anthony Towns just had his way with JD. Unfortunately, like, if I'm just being honest, Durant only played 18 minutes. Uh, and it was really interesting. Like, I think JB tonight, before the game, was a complete wash in the fourth quarter. JB was much quicker tonight to go to Stew in the first half, and then at the start of the third quarter, where the Pistons have just had a halftime break to dissect the game, Karl Anthony Towns drove right by Jalen Durant, got a layup, and then Jalen Durant failed to close out the Cat. Cat hit a three, and JB looked straight to Isaiah Stewart within the first minute of the third, and Durant was off not long after that. So, yeah, it's you can't. development's not linear. So we can't expect, Jaden Ivey's the one now who's taking the leap. Last year, Ivy was the one maybe struggling while Asar was playing well. Like, all these young guys aren't going to be constantly on the up always. And Jaylen Durant's 20 years old, but the way he's playing right now, and he just looks lost. And now, the past two games, I'm starting to see him look lost on offense, and like, which is scary because you need him confident on off. Like, I just feel like his confidence is gone. Um, but the way he's playing, I truly think that a move to the bench is beneficial. And I say that with my most level-headed uh, NBA, well, I don't even know what you want to call it, maybe analyst hat on. Like, I truly just think to take some of the pressure off him, moving him to the bench could do him good. Starting Isaiah Stewart is not ideal because offensively, you want Cade to have a lob threat, but I just think the defensive gap between Durant and Stu is much bigger right now than the offensive gap, and I think Stu gives you a lot more defensively against different types of bigs. So look, if you are, I think against Nick Claxton and the Nets, maybe you keep Durant in the starting lineup, but I think his minutes, like I think the second things go sideways, I think you should be going to Stu, and we saw that. But yeah, just across the next few weeks, like if JD can't start really rounding into some form, I think you have kind of no choice but to go to Isaiah Stewart. And I know Pistons fans would be divided on that, but that's just where I'm at from what I've seen, and I don't even think I'm being overly harsh. Um, you just, yeah, Jalen looks a bit dejected, and I would like to think going to the bench could ignite something within him and get him going because they need him, and it's not all on JD. Like the Pistons' perimeter defense tonight was atrocious. Jaden Ivey struggled to contain Jalen Brunson. Like it felt like the Knicks, the amount of backdoor cuts they got. Like, and some of that's to do with Cat pulling the big out of the paint, but sometimes it's just you know they're just not locked in enough and they get exposed. And against a team like the Knicks, who have five guys in their starting lineup who um, all know how to score, all know how to cut. Like Jalen Brunson cuts so much off the ball. Like for an on-ball heavy usage guy, I swear he had three or four backdoor cuts for easy layups. And like that's something I'd like to see Cade do, to be honest. But and Ivy, but they're a well-drilled team, and they're going to be at the top of the East no matter what. So the Pistons' tough schedule has done them no favors, but Jalen Duran and then kind of the Pistons' lack of perimeter defense is just it really got exposed tonight, and I'll be interested to see what JB Bickerstaff does against the Nets because that's now suddenly. Uh, I mean, it was always a game we wanted the Pistons to win, and you kind of have to win that one. But after tonight's performance, I think if they lost to the Nets and it's a bad game, it's not good vibes. So I hope tonight is just a game that we look back on and say, yep, throw that one out. Yeah, it was a what do you call it? It was an outlier, but after what we've seen the past few seasons, Pistons fans, we can't just ignore that performance because we've seen it time and time again. So they've got to come out against the Nets on Sunday and show that, we might not be a playoff team, play-in might even be a stretch, but we are a much more competitive outfit than last year. So once again, we're kind of in that prove-it stage after getting a win against the 76ers a couple of days ago. But yeah, really disappointing. I don't have many other thoughts. Don't watch this game back, and we just have to hope we get a better, more locked in side against the Nets on Sunday. But let me know your thoughts, as always, in the comments. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell a friend. I appreciate all the love, all the comments, everyone getting involved with the account. I appreciate it so much. So, as always, until the Nets game, we'll be back. Go Pistons.